everybody. Good morning and happy Monday to you. I hope you are doing well today. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. I'm super excited to be with you for another episode of Project Joy Live. Today, we're diving into a really important and I think long overdue conversation about joy needing a rebrand. Over the years, I've seen how the word joy gets tossed around like glitter, light, shiny, sometimes a little surface level. And while there's absolutely a time and place for sparkly joy, today I want to talk about the kind of joy that has roots, the kind that can exist even when you're grieving, the kind of joy that doesn't require perfection or performance, but rather presence and permission. I want to invite you into the space with an open mind and heart as we explore what joy really means in today's world and how redefining it might just be the key to living more freely, more truthfully, and more joyfully than ever before. So, all that being said, it's time now for an all new episode of Project Joy Live. Let's do it. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. It is Monday, March 24th, 2025. I hope you are doing well today. Can you guys believe that we are at the end of March officially now? It's wild to me, but I'm not gonna go into time going quickly as much as I did last season, because it's overwhelming sometimes how fast time goes. But here we are nonetheless. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be talking about sort of rebranding the word joy a little bit. Now, I've talked about this in bits and pieces over time, but I really wanted to kind of bring it all together today. So grab your morning drink, get comfy, and let's reimagine joy together on today's episode. We've also got breaking news segment coming up for you here in a moment. We've got our joy versation that's happening. We've got birthdays to do, talking about what's going on in the network this week. So much happening on today's show. But I would love for you to chime in down below, say hello, let us know where you're joining from. And of course, what is bringing you joy today? My big joy today, I got to spend a day with my daughters yesterday. We went shopping, getting ready for 90s Con in 4 days. Oh, so excited. So excited that everybody's getting pumped up. You all know I got my spreadsheet going over here, ready to go. I a little bit of sad because I try to plan, what celebrity tables I'm gonna go to, like which day that I'm gonna be there. But sometimes it just doesn't work out like that because the celebrities, in addition to being at their tables, they also go to do photo ops, panels, they take breaks because they're human. They do all these things. And so sometimes they might not be there, but I try to have like a good picture in my head of like, what am I gonna do? Well, Dermot Mulroney, who some of you guys might know from My Best Friend's Wedding, he's in one of the latest Scream movies. That's why he's at this panel, because they're having all of these Scream actors from the Scream movies. And so he was supposed to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but because of his recording schedule for taping schedule for a movie that he's in, he's only going to be there Saturday, Sunday now. And I'm sort of sad because I wanted to see him day one, but I will digress. He's still going to be there 2 other days. And I'm also, I'm very excited. I'm in planning. We have our outfits. We're getting together over here. And we're pumped and we're excited, and we're going to talk more about what's happening on Friday. Literally, I'll be on Project Joy Friday morning and then heading right to Hartford after that to get ready for day one of 90s Con, which I'm so excited. Literally within 30 minutes of arriving, my little ones get to meet Matthew Lillard with the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. And it's so exciting. They're so excited. Nina even got a Scooby-Doo shirt yesterday. And so we're ready. We're ready to go. Also bringing me immense joy this morning, as we were doing the shopping yesterday, we spent a little bit of time with our friends, Andrea and her daughter. And Andrea gave me a bag that was for my birthday, but we hadn't seen each other. And then it hadn't, hadn't worked out. But look what she gave me, you guys. I'm so excited. It's a Care Bear tumbler. I'm so excited. Y'all know how I love my Care Bears. I have my Care Bear Pez over here. I have one of my Care Bear mugs this morning. This one was from Danielle. And she gave me a couple other things, which my daughter said to me, your friends know you so well. They really do. They really do. And it's great. It's love. I get Care Bear stuff all the time, and it's my favorite thing. So thank you so much, Andrea. That meant so much to me, and as well as the other little gifts. They brought me a lot of joy this morning. So let's head over to the comments and see who's joining us this morning. Miss Teresa is here. Good morning. I'm taking it easy, but sending lots of love. Sending you love, Teresa. So glad that you are resting today, taking some time for Teresa. Mr. Lowenthal is here this morning. Richard is the mastermind behind our software that we use for our virtual community, which you guys will see a little commercial coming up for that. But I'm always talking about, the stuff in the community and everything else. And if it wasn't for Richard's, brainchild behind the scenes, that we wouldn't have what we have. And so I'm in wild gratitude of Richard this morning. Miss Brittany's here. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Let me know what's bringing you joy today. You know, it's always a Care Bear fest over here. I have so much Care Bear stuff. I have Care Bear socks, the Pez, the mugs, the cups. I have so much Care Bear stuff, you guys. It's probably obnoxious. Brett Weiss is here from the White Scholarship Foundation. Good morning, Brett. Good to see you. Make sure you guys visit whitescholarshipfoundation.org and donate to that incredible organization. We support them every month through the Breakthrough Show Network, and I have my plaque on the wall here and in my virtual office. Speaking of my virtual space over there, everybody's saying hello to Richard this morning as well. And thank you for helping with our amazing community. So all of that being said this morning, you guys, we have to get into our breaking news segment. Here we go. All right, you guys, before we dive fully into today's topic, I want to take a moment to acknowledge some heartbreaking news in the world. Mia Love, the first Black Republican woman elected to Congress, has passed away at just 49 years old. Mia Love made history. She broke barriers, challenged norms, and paved the way for future generations with her presence in politics. Regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum, her legacy is a groundbreaker and trailblazer is undeniable. When someone passes at such a young age, it stirs something in us, a reminder, a wake-up call. And so that wake-up call is going to bring us into our joy versation today, sending so much love to Mia Love's family and friends during this time. And let's move into our joy versation. All right, you guys, we have a good question this morning. As we, that I've shared before that the creation of the Breakthrough Show Network came after the passing of my brother, and sharing about his story and my story in response to when he passed away. And so the question that I have for you to reflect on today as we move from that breaking news segment is, what is one thing that you wish you could do more of? What is one thing that you wish you could do more of? So comment down below to chime in on that question today. What is one thing you wish you could do more of? I think for me, I've sort of answered that call. I grew up here on the coast of New England, coast of Connecticut, southeastern Connecticut. And I really took for granted, I feel like, growing up, this area and how precious it is to me and how amazing it is for me to live along the coastline and how much water means to me, and all of that as a symbol in my life. And so the one thing that I really wished I could do for the longest time was get back to going to the shoreline more often. And where we lived prior to moving back here to Connecticut, it was really difficult to do that. We were like 3 hours from the water. And now all the people where I used to live were like, oh, just go to the lake, just go to the river. And while, yes, that those things are water, it's not the same as the ocean. Okay. I'm here to tell you guys. All right. It's not the same as the ocean. And so I have made a commitment to myself, if I ever got to move back home, that I would not take living on the shoreline for granted anymore, and I would go more often. And I certainly do now. Now, granted, we are in a very cold time of year in southeastern Connecticut, but I've still gone to the beach in the cold. I've gone down to the water, especially when I'm not feeling 100%. I will go down and I will stand there and I will breathe in that salty sea air. And it's so fabulous and wonderful. And so I am staying with my commitment of wanting to go to the water more often. And so that is one thing that I wished I could do more of, but I've made it happen. So that's sort of the next part to this question, which is, if you're answering, okay, you wish you could do more of this, are you taking action steps toward doing what you say that you wish you could do more of, or is it just a wish somewhere in your mind? That's another great question to ask yourself. So I'm definitely doing that. I'm trying to think of what I wish I could see more people that I've met online, or have had on my show in person. I definitely wish I could do more meetups. That's big for me. And I think I've worked towards that over the years. I've seen a lot of people who have been on the show: Lori Davis, Brittany Floyd, Danielle Valero, uh, Jeremy Witcher. Um, I've seen so many people that have been on the show, but anyway, Harrison Banner. So I've seen so many people in person, but I wish I could see more. So definitely working on that. So what's something that you wish you could do more of? And are you taking action steps towards that? Teresa said, I wish I could do more hiking and caving, but physically that would be tough, but I haven't given up. You just, sometimes we can find a little cave or a little mini hike. I did find hiking is one thing I really wish. I struggle because my body is not always friendly to me. But there is, I found a website, and maybe they have one for where you live, Teresa. These people go hiking often in Connecticut, and they share about all of these different places that you can hike, like what you see along the way, if there's waterfalls, if there's flowers, if whatever. And they share like how tough it is, how long it is, how far the parking lot is to the trail, etc. But they share those things on the site. So maybe finding something like that would be helpful for you as well. Miss Kat is joining us from across the pond. Good morning, Kat. Good to see you. She's joining us on her lunch break over in Scotland. So good to see you this morning, Kat. Teresa said, when I first moved here to Tennessee from California, I went into deep grieving, being so far from the ocean. I'm okay now, though. And I get that 100%. When I initially moved away from here, I moved to Washington State, but we were right on the water as well. But I think that I was still in a place at the time of like taking that for granted and not really understanding my very energetic need to interact with the ocean or with the shoreline. So it's interesting, the little phases that we go through, but I'm committed to not missing out any longer. And Teresa said, I am taking action steps every morning with us in the gym. Yes, every single morning in the gym. Teresa is there getting her fitness on. So we love that. Um, Kat said, I wish I could do more hosting at my house. Everybody is so busy nowadays. And I am with you 100% on this, though I get really burnt out quickly and I get exhausted after I have company and leading up to having company. If I'm being frank with you, we talked about that the other day on the show. But I was sharing with my daughter yesterday, when we were growing up, we lived in this apartment complex and we used to block it off. And we would, everybody would bring out, and if any of my old Branford Manor peeps are watching, you'll remember this. But we used to let everybody used to bring out a grill and the little kiddie pools, and Miss Nita would come out with the icy ice pops for the kids, and we would have music going, and next thing you know, we'll be doing the electric slide. I just dated myself. And so it used to be so much fun to do that, and I would just love to do that again. But it's interesting because I don't see a lot of that anymore. Those same deep relationships we used to have with our neighbors and the get-togethers that we used to have in person and all of that. And so I'm so grateful for our virtual community that with these connections that we're making with people so far away, that we're still able to do that in essence. I do wish it was in person. I wish we could share a meal together and a hug and all of that, because I am, I'm a huggy person. But times are different. Times are different. Kat said, I remember such stuff as a kid when I visited my grandma. It's so true. It's so true. But thanks for chiming in on our Joyversation today. We're going to take a super quick break where you're going to get to see our community. And when we get back, we're going to dive into our topic today about joy needs a rebrand. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I invite you to dive in with us at the breakthroughshownetwork.club and check out our virtual community, and join us for events, or just come and hang out. There's plenty of spaces where you can hang and see what's going on. So we were going to talk about this morning joy needing a rebrand, and I've mentioned little bits of this over time, because joy has definitely had a complete rebrand here on Project Joy Live. Initially, I came up, for anybody that doesn't know the history of Project Joy, I came up with this idea at the end of 2019. Now, I've shared a lot on this show about my own personal healing journey and how challenging it has been for me to live with chronic illness and different things like that. So, in 2019, I went. Probably at the end of 2018, I had made this decision. Okay, I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna get all the tests done. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get to the bottom of some of these very, very physical, real things that I was experiencing. And I think I went through. I want to say it was like 68 tests that year, in 2019. It was really, really hard for me. It took a huge toll on me. And eventually, I was so burnt out at the end of the year that I made a radical decision for myself. And what I decided was that I'm done with this. I'm done being a guinea pig. I'm done being poked and prodded and scanned and analyzed. And I'm exhausted from this. And I'm going to just commit to joy. I don't really even know where that came from, but this was the end of 2019. And I said, I'm not going to do anything in my life that doesn't bring me joy. And if I have to do something, because we know about adulting, sometimes we have to do things that don't necessarily bring us joy, that I am going to commit to finding the joy in whatever it is that I have to do. So that was the end of 2019. And then I was like, maybe to hold myself accountable for this space of joy that I want to reside in, I could do a podcast, and I could, because I had already had the breakthrough show, which started in 2018, but I was itching to do a little more. The breakthrough show had enabled me to interview other people and tell their stories, but I felt very much like this project joy that I wanted to create was such a personal journey of my own. And that was a way for me to share a little bit about myself. And so I was going to do this really quick once a week podcast. And like that, within an hour, I wrote down 52 places, ways, whatever, that I could find joy. Once a month, I would have somebody pop on and share how they process joy. And that's what it was. It was a very brief podcast, 15, maybe 20 minutes. And it was all like joy in grief, joy in beginnings, joy in endings, joy in whatever. Right. So I had 52 of those episodes for planned for 2020. Well, then we all know what happened March of 2020. And so it was wild to me. It remains to be wild to me on reflection how much I apparently knew we were going to need to find the joy when everything hit the fan in 2020. So I continued the podcast throughout that year. And when the year was up, I thought to myself, I don't know if I can continue with this podcast as is, because um I had gone through 52 things. I was like, okay, I could come up with 52 more things and we could continue next year, but I don't feel that that's the way to go. What I wanted to do was continue to be in joy, but I wanted to be more in it rather than just talking about it. So that's when I made the decision to shift from Project Joy podcast to Project Joy Live, and we would do a live show. Um, and this was such a stretch for me because at the time, the breakthrough show was still a recorded interview style show. So there was a lot of editing that was happening behind the scenes. And so Project Joy was a way to just come on live and be real with everybody about what joy looks like for me in the moment. So I continued this live show, and that first year that we were live, it was a lot about continuing to, we had kind of talked about up in that to that point, finding the joy. Now it was about like, now you have all these opportunities to create joy. Okay, yes, we can look for it, but we can also create it, right? And so then as time continued to go on, we've shifted as we've gone to this year, which is talking about being the joy, that at our core, at our essence, we are the joy. And what I found is that a lot of people really weren't talking about it on this deep level. It's like I explained in the intro, it's sort of been this like sparkly sort of surface level thing. Even we've seen it, we talked about it on the episode last week about spring cleaning, and we talked about the KonMari method and how she talked about, as you're decluttering physical things, asking yourself, does this spark joy? And so it's really been a journey here on the show, because we've gotten to this place where I'm at talking about the essence of who we are, being joy, and that joy, because of that, can coexist with anything else that we're experiencing. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So what is joy really, and is it the same as happiness? And I would love for you to hear you guys comment on these things below, because it's interesting to process some of this. So what is joy really? Is it the same as happiness? How do you process joy? Do you process joy as the same as happiness? And is it a fleeting moment or a state of being? As I've said on my journey, I can only share, my goal continues to be the same here on Project Joy, that this is really about sharing who I am at my core. And for me, joy is a little bit different than happiness, because as I process joy now, joy is who I am, but not everything makes me happy. Not everything, um, you know, not everything is processed in that same way. And so I feel like happiness can be fleeting, that it can come and go, but joy is really that core essence, as I said, of who we are. Um, and so I think some of where we've gotten joy wrong is that social media and marketing have turned joy into sort of an aesthetic or a performance or a surface level sort of thing. We even hear people talking often about toxic positivity, which I continue to struggle with that. I continue to struggle with this idea of toxic positivity because I think that any effort to bring us into that space of joy and bliss and love and peace, I can't find fault in that because I remember times going through really, really tough things when my brother passed away, when my grandparents passed away, when I had nothing, when I thought about suicide, when I was homeless, all of these things that I've dealt with in my life. Um, I always, I don't know if it's just something innate within me. I don't know, but I always found myself looking for the silver lining, the light coming through the clouds. And I can't find fault in that. I really can't because I truly think that it's an act of courage, an act of bravery to find the light in the darkness when a lot of times the outside pressure is to just be in the dark, to just be there and sit there and wallow in it, and that we are supposed to be angry, we're supposed to be mad, we're supposed to be frustrated, and aren't you just insert whatever negative here about all of this. And so I feel like it's almost in a time that we're in right now to be the joy and to always look for that light in the silver lining is an act of rebellion. It's an act of courage in the times that we're in right now. I want to go over to the comments really quickly as we're talking about all of this stuff. Andrea's here. Andrea, did you see where I was talking about the cup this morning? It brought me a lot of joy yesterday. Thank you so much. I think joy is a state of being and a mindset, and happiness is temporary. I agree. I agree 100%. Miss Judith is here this morning. Good morning, Judith. Good to see you. Judith, I met in person too, and that brought me a whole lot of joy as well. I feel like joy is much deeper than happiness. I love both. Oh yes. Oh yes. I love the happiness too. I just wish I could be happy about everything. Um oh Jessica, thank you for that. Courage to be a beacon of joy no matter what. Thank you for making your journey benefit so much. You're so welcome. And I feel that strongly right now with everything that we're going on in this world, to be the joy and to search for it anyway. It is an act of rebellion because everywhere you go on social media right now, there everyone's telling us to be outraged about everything. And I'm not saying that there doesn't need to be stuff done, that there doesn't need to be boots on the ground sometimes, but you can have boots on the ground and also go, man, there's joy in the boots. You know what I mean? There's joy in the boots. Um, so what does authentic joy feel like? Joy is a presence. It's a peace. It's a connection. And this is my favorite part of joy because this is the word that's going to tie it together for everybody the way that I have in my own life. Joy is alignment. Okay. So a lot of people question whether we can have joy and be sad, grieving, angry, frustrated, pissed off, whatever at the same time. There's a lot of people that don't agree with that. In fact, when I talked about this a couple years ago with a dear friend of mine, she just was not in a place to hear that. And she just was like, no, it cannot exist at the same time. I can't be mad about this and also be joyful. And I just respectfully disagreed because for me, joy is about alignment. So if you are um if you are frustrated about something in the moment and that is in alignment with where you are, then that's you being joy. Now, we could sit here and argue about what we do in response to that, that could keep us in that space of joy or not. Because I think there's a difference between being angry, frustrated. pissed off, sad, whatever, and what we choose to do with that energy, I think that's a different conversation. Um, but I think it's important to find the joy in the unexpected and difficult moments, because those are some of the moments where we find our biggest alignment. I'm trying to find the right phrase, our the place where we can find ourselves most aligned, because it's in those challenges that we can choose to either hang on to what we're going through or let it go, to release it and say, okay, what part of this do I want to have power over me? So I think that those are important things to look at. I'm going to check over in the comments really quickly here. I am a rebel. I stand for joy. That's it. These emotions do not cancel each other out. That's the thing. They just don't. And they can exist at the exact same time. And I've shared this before. I shared during coffee last weekend about when my brother passed away. We came up here to Connecticut, and we were still living down south. And at the time, and when we came up here, it was snowing, and there was snow, or it had snowed, and I remember there being snow at the cemetery. And so this is one of those moments where we see that sort of outside pressure to be a certain way. Everybody's in their black, their mourning, whatever, at the funeral. And my kids were so excited to see snow. It wasn't even like, yes, they were sad that their uncle had passed away, but they were having so much fun in the snow. And because of when he had passed away, isn't that beautiful that they got to come up and experience something that they had never experienced before? And so that's one of those really real examples for me in my life, where I saw those things coexisting at the exact same time. So, redefining joy for ourselves. What does joy look like for you in your daily life? And are you at the place where you can see joy coexisting with things like grief, stress, and healing? This is what I want you to do. If you are, and this is no judgment, this, because everybody has their own journey. As I said, I had that conversation with my friend a couple years ago, and she is not in the place where she can really see them coexisting. But I want you to put a heart in the comment if you can believe, if you believe that joy can coexist with things like grief, stress, and healing. Put a heart in the comments if you believe that joy can coexist with those different things. And how do you need to redefine joy for yourself? Let's see. Sharon is here. Good morning, Sharon. Good to see you. Jessica, are there levels of joy that you experience, or just joy? I will say there's different levels of joy awareness. I'm going to put it that way for you. And the reason I say this is because I believe that joy is the essence of who we are. It exists whether we are aware of it or not, whether we do anything with it or not, whether we choose to believe it or not. It is there. It exists, just like love. I believe love is right in there, wrapped up with joy of who we are. Now, there are things that we can experience that can help us be more aware of that joy. There are things, there's happiness that we experience that I think can increase our levels of awareness and feeling joy. One of the things that's challenging in my life as I'm dealing with days that are maybe higher pain levels or things like that, it's hard on that day, those days, to remember that I am the joy, because I'm thinking to myself, if I'm in so much pain, how the hell is this joyful? you know, but it's not. But then I look at the difference between joy and happiness, and joy and some of these outside things that we experience. And so for me, there are different levels of awareness of joy, but not different levels of the essence of joy itself. I hope that makes sense for everybody. That's where I'm at. Um, I'm feeling that the joy of your children in the snow brought so much comfort to your brother. I think so too. I think so too. It was, and I think even though there were a lot of people there that were sad, I think it brought joy to them too, because I can't tell you how much joy in my darkest moments, my children have been such a light, to remind me of the essence of joy that we are. And so it's such a beautiful thing. There's all the hearts believing that joy can coexist, with grief, with frustration, with stress, with healing, and all of that fun stuff. So, simple ways to invite real joy into your life. And a lot of this comes down to coming back to that essence, back to that, this is who I am. Okay. A lot of it's about being present, breath work, mindfulness, setting boundaries. Mhm. That's a tough one. I'm still, still, I have a hard time. I have a hard time. I'm working on it though. I'm getting better. Slowing down, creative expression, holding yourself accountable. We talked about before. So I'll give you an example of this is a great example of a reminder of the essence of joy. Um, the question I asked in the joy versation this morning was about what is something you wish you could experience more of in your life. Okay. And so thinking about that makes me aware of my joy, of my essence of joy. I want to travel more. I want to meet more people in person. I want more hugs. I want to taste really good food. These are things I want to in general do more of in my life, right? But then we can be reminded further, if as we're taking action steps towards accomplishing those things that we wish we could do more of in our lives. That's like a an intentional reminder of the essence of joy. And then when we experience the thing that we wish we could do more of in our life, that makes us happy. And so that's more of an awareness of our essence of joy. So it's just this, it's this compounding, it's this adding up of things that happen. So it's so important for us to just take time, slow down, make the connections, hold ourselves accountable, breath work, mindfulness, setting boundaries, and creative expression, to remind us of those different levels of joy in our lives. So I hope all of this is helpful for you today as we're discussing, um, joy needs a rebrand in our lives, guys. And we got a couple more things to do. We've got birthdays to do, we've got announcements to do, and then I'm going to wrap it up for you guys in just a moment. So we will be right back after this.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. We have been talking about joy needing a rebrand in our lives today. And I asked a question as we were talking about this, of how many people believe that are at the place where they believe that joy can coexist with other things like grief and frustration and healing and stress and all of those things. And there were a lot of people that put hearts in the comments, and I thank you for that. I thank you for being here with me. But I also want to give a really big and real thank you to everybody that did not put hearts in the comments. Because as much as this is my journey and this is the point of sharing what I share here on Project Joy Live, I am keenly aware that it is not where everyone's at, and that is okay too. And I want you to know that I still believe that you are the joy, that that is the essence of who you are, even if you're not to where that you can connect those dots yet. And this is the perfect place for you, because I think it really helps to have the reminder that we are the joy, even if we're going through hard times and we're not to where that we can connect those dots yet. So sending so much love to everyone who was not able to put hearts, because there is no judgment here. Everybody is on their own journey. They're on their own journey. One of the things that brings me immense joy is being able to celebrate birthdays with everybody. So it is, if it's your birthday today or someone you know, please drop it down into the comments. In the world of celebrities today, Jim Parsons, actor Jim Parsons, 62 years old. You might, 62. Did I get that wrong? I'm just sitting here having a moment because no, 52. I did get it wrong. He's 50. I'm so sorry, Jim. Not that he knows me, but I'm so sorry. Actor Jim Parsons, 52 years old. He was in Big Bang Theory. You guys might remember him from wrestling days. The Undertaker is the big 6-0 today. The big 6-0, The Undertaker is. Peyton Manning of the Colts and the Broncos, 49 years old today. Actress Jessica Chastain, 48 years old today. Magician Harry Houdini is who passed away in 1926, had a birthday today. And every time I think about Houdini, it's natural that I think about my cousin Jim Spinato. Jim Spinato, I want to remind you, and I'm maybe biased because we're related, but the funniest shows you will ever see in your life. He headlines, he's the resident comedic magician at Comics Roadhouse in Fox in Mohegan Sun Casino. I'm having a moment here this morning. Go see Jim Spinato shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He does comedy magic shows, and it's R-rated. Don't bring your kids. And then he once a month does the comedic hypnosis. So make sure you go check him out as well. Little shameless plug there. Tommy Hilfiger, designer, 74 years old today. Actress Allison Hannigan, 51 years old. I didn't even realize 51. Allison looks amazing. You might remember her from American Pie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Actor Steve McQueen, who passed away in 1980, also had a birthday today as well. The celebrities in my life: Maggie Cooper, who was a teacher back in my kids' school days. Happy birthday, Maggie. And from our dance family here at Dance Country in Gales Ferry, Connecticut, Kathy Goodman Brown has a birthday today. So happy birthday, Kathy, as well. Let me check if anybody else has birthdays come through. I think we're good. So let's get our birthday song on. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim, the Undertaker, Peyton, Jessica, Harry, Tommy, Allison, Steve, Maggie, and Kathy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. I hope you celebrate as long as you need to and however you need to bring you some happiness so you can experience more joy in your life. Okay. All right. Before we get to our closing out of today, I want to tell you about what's happening on the network this week. We have virtual co-working today and Wednesday. Just for any of our events, you go to the breakthroughshownetwork.com and there's a part about the community, or just go right to bypass the regular website and go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club. We have co-working, as I said, today and Wednesday. Every day we read Dorothy's For Love poem in the morning. We also have community fitness hour at 7:15 and 12 o'clock each day. What else do we have going on this week? I will be back Wednesday for Project Joy with Teresa Warren. She's going to be joining me to talk about morning routines and all of that fun stuff. So I'm excited to be joined by Teresa on Wednesday. And then Friday, I will be back with my friend Danielle Valero because we will be getting ready for 90s Con this weekend. So excited about that. So make sure you join me for Project Joy Live. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the 9 a.m. Eastern Time hour. And as we close out today's show, I want to leave you with this. Joy is not a prize for being perfect. I think sometimes that's a lot of where this surface level joy comes from. That something good has to happen in order to experience joy. Joy is not a prize. It's not a hashtag or a mood board aesthetic. It's not something that only shows up on sunny days or when everything goes right. Real joy, deep, soulful, lasting joy is already inside of you, already there. It's the exhale after a long day. It's the smile that breaks through the tears. It's the moment of connection, of clarity, of grace. So as you go about your day today, I encourage you to reclaim joy in your own way. Redefine it. Let it be raw and let it belong to you. Let it be yours. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. And of course, as we talked about today, I want to remind you that you are the joy. And I will see you next time for an all new episode on Project Joy Live on Wednesday. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.
I've been trying, and I've been lifting myself up.